Question 1. Personal auto policy PAP. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. Which of the following statements regarding uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C, in a Colorado personal auto policy PAP, is correct? A. Uninsured motorist coverage provides protection when the at-fault driver has no liability insurance. B. Underinsured motorist coverage applies only when the at-fault driver's insurance is equal to or exceeds the victim's insurance coverage. C. Uninsured motorist coverage is mandatory in Colorado. D. Underinsured motorist coverage does not cover hit-and-run accidents. Correct answer A. Uninsured motorist coverage provides protection when the at-fault driver has no liability insurance. Explanation: uninsured motorist coverage provides protection when the at-fault driver has no liability insurance, ensuring that the insured can still recover damages. In contrast, underinsured motorist coverage applies when the at-fault driver has liability insurance, but it is insufficient to cover the damages incurred. In Colorado, coverage is not mandatory but must be offered to policyholders. Hit-and-run accidents are typically covered under uninsured motorist coverage, not excluded. Question 2. Homeowners insurance. Loss of use coverage, coverage D in Colorado under typical homeowners insurance policy. What does loss of use coverage D include? A. Payment for personal property replacement. B. Reimbursement for increased living expenses if the covered peril makes the home uninhabitable. C. Payment for repairs to the home after covered loss. D. Coverage for liability claims against the homeowner. Correct answer B. Reimbursement for increased living expenses if a covered peril makes the home uninhabitable. Explanation: loss of use coverage D in a homeowner's insurance policy reimburses the insured for additional living expenses incurred if a covered peril makes the home temporarily uninhabitable. This coverage ensures that the insured can maintain a normal standard of living while repairs are made. It does not cover personal property replacement, home repairs, or liability claims, which are addressed under different coverage parts such as coverage dwelling, coverage C, personal property, and coverage E, personal liability, respectively. Question 3. Scenario type. Inland Marine Insurance. Mr. Anderson lives in Colorado and owns a valuable collection of rare coins. He wants to ensure that his collection is adequately protected against risks like theft, loss, and damage. Which type of insurance policy should Mr. Anderson consider, and what is a key feature of this policy? A. Homeowners insurance with a personal property endorsement. B. Inland Marine Insurance with a personal articles floater. C. Personal umbrella policy with a valuable items rider. D. Dwelling policy with coverage for additional living expenses. Correct answer B. Inland Marine Insurance with a personal articles floater. Explanation: Inland Marine Insurance with a personal articles floater is the most suitable option for Mr. Anderson to protect his rare coin collection. This type of insurance provides coverage for valuable personal property that may not be fully covered under a standard homeowner's insurance policy. The personal articles floater offers broader protection and higher coverage limits for specific items, including rare coins, against risks like theft, loss, and damage. Homeowners insurance may not provide adequate coverage limits, and personal umbrella policies primarily offer liability coverage rather than property protection. Dwelling policies typically cover structural aspects and additional living expenses, not personal items. Question 4. Insurance principles and concepts. Principles of indemnity. Which of the following best describes the principle of indemnity in the context of Colorado personal lines insurance? A. It ensures that the insured receives a profit from a loss. B. It guarantees that the insured is restored to the financial position they were in prior to the loss. C. It provides an additional payout beyond the actual loss to cover inconvenience. D. It requires the insurer to pay the policy limits regardless of the actual loss. Correct answer B. It guarantees that the insured is restored to the financial position they were in prior to the loss. Explanation: the principle of indemnity is a fundamental concept in insurance aiming to restore the insured to the financial position they were in before the loss occurred without allowing them to make a profit. This principle ensures that insurance is a means of compensation for losses, not a source of profit. Options A, C, and D are incorrect because they imply the insured can profit or receive more than the actual loss, which goes against the principle of indemnity. Question 5. Personal umbrella policy. Coverage features and benefits. Which of the following is a key benefit of a personal umbrella policy in Colorado? A. It replaces the primary liability policy. B. It provides coverage for personal property damage. C. It offers additional liability coverage above the limits of underlying policies. D. It covers routine maintenance of the insured's home. Correct answer: C. It offers additional liability coverage above the limits of underlying policies. Explanation: a personal umbrella policy provides additional liability coverage that extends beyond the limits of the insured's underlying policies, such as auto and homeowners insurance. This extra layer of protection is crucial for covering large liability claims that exceed the standard policy limits. It does not replace the primary liability policy, cover personal property damage, or pay for routine home maintenance, which are addressed by other types of insurance or specific provisions within existing policies. Question 6. Dwelling policy DP. Types of dwelling policies. Which of the following types of dwelling policies offers the broadest coverage in Colorado? A. Deeper 1, basic form. B. Deeper 2, broad form. C. Deeper 3, special form. D. Deeper 4, limited form. Correct answer: C. Deeper 3, special form. Explanation: the Deeper 3 special form provides the broadest coverage among the dwelling policies. It covers the dwelling and other structures on an open peril basis, meaning it covers all risks except those specifically excluded. In contrast, D1, basic form, covers only named perils, and Deeper 2, broad form, covers more named perils than Deeper 1 but still less comprehensively than Deeper 3. There is no standard DP4 limited form policy in the typical dwelling policy series, making it an incorrect option. Question 7. Scenario type. Flood insurance. MS Hernandez lives in a designated flood zone in Colorado and is considering purchasing flood insurance. She is worried about the financial impact of potential flooding on her home. Which component of a national flood insurance program (NFIP) policy would cover the cost of rebuilding a home if it is damaged by a flood? A. Personal property coverage. B. Building property coverage. C. Increased cost of compliance coverage. D. Loss of use coverage. Correct answer: B. Building property coverage. Explanation: building property coverage under an NFIP policy covers the structure of the home, including the foundation, electrical and plumbing systems, and other structural elements. This coverage ensures that Ms. Hernandez can rebuild her home if it is damaged by a flood. Personal property coverage covers the content of the home. Increased cost of compliance coverage covers the cost of bringing the home up to current building codes after flood, and loss of use coverage is typically not included in standard flood insurance policies. Question 8. Homeowners insurance. Personal liability coverage. Coverage E. In Colorado, what does personal liability coverage E under homeowners insurance policy typically cover? A. Damage to the insured's own property. B. Legal liability for bodily injury or property damage to others. C. Medical payments for the insured's family members. D. Costs of repairing the insured's home. Correct answer: B. Legal liability for bodily injury or property damage to others. Explanation: personal liability coverage. Coverage E. In a homeowner's insurance policy protects the insured against legal liability for bodily injury or property damage to others caused by the insured or their family members. This coverage helps pay for legal defense costs and any settlements or judgments up to the policy limits. It does not cover damage to the insured's own property, medical payments for the insured's family members, which falls under Coverage F, or repair costs for the insured's home, covered under Coverage A. Question 9. Insurance regulation. Licensing requirements for agents and brokers. What is one of the primary licensing requirements for insurance agents and brokers in Colorado? A. Holding a college degree in finance. B. Passing a state-specific insurance examination. C. Having at least 5 years of industry experience. D. Obtaining a recommendation from an existing agent. Correct answer: B. Passing a state-specific insurance examination. Explanation: one of the primary licensing requirements for insurance agents and brokers in Colorado is passing a state-specific insurance examination. This exam ensures that agents and brokers possess the necessary knowledge and understanding of state insurance laws, regulations, and ethical standards. While a college degree in finance, industry experience, and recommendations may be beneficial, they are not primary licensing requirements set by the state. Question 10. Ethics in insurance. Consequences of unethical behavior. What is one potential consequence of unethical behavior by an insurance professional in Colorado? A. Receiving an award for customer service. B. Increased commission rate. C. Revocation of insurance license. D. Automatic promotion. To a higher position. Correct answer. C. Revocation of insurance license. Explanation. Unethical behavior by an insurance professional in Colorado can lead to serious consequences, including the revocation of their insurance license. This measure ensures that only those who adhere to high ethical standards and legal requirements can practice in the industry. Other potential consequences include fines, penalties, and damage to professional reputation. Options A, B, and D are incorrect because unethical behavior would not lead to positive outcomes like awards, increased commissions, or promotions. Question 11. Personal liability insurance. Exclusions and conditions. Which of the following is typically excluded under a personal liability insurance policy in Colorado? A. Liability arising from the insured's professional services. B. Liability for bodily injury to others. C. Liability for property damage to others. D. Legal defense costs related to covered claims. Correct answer: A. Liability arising from the insured's professional services. Explanation. Personal liability insurance typically excludes liability arising from the insured's professional services, as these risks are generally covered under professional liability insurance policies, such as errors and omissions or malpractice insurance. Personal liability insurance is designed to cover non-professional personal liability exposures, including bodily injury, property damage to others, and related legal defense costs. The other options, B, C, and D, are generally included under personal liability insurance. Question 12. Emerging issues in personal lines insurance. Cyber risk and insurance. How does a typical cyber risk insurance policy benefit individuals in Colorado? A. It covers physical damage to personal property caused by cyber attacks. B. It provides financial protection against losses from identity theft and cyber extortion. C. It replaces standard homeowners insurance. D. It covers maintenance costs for personal electronic devices. Correct answer. B. It provides financial protection against losses from identity theft and cyber extortion. Explanation. Cyber risk insurance for individuals offers financial protection against losses resulting from cyber-related incidents, such as identity theft, cyber extortion, and data breaches. This type of insurance helps cover the costs associated with resolving identity theft, recovering data, and responding to cyber extortion demands. It does not cover physical damage to property, replace standard homeowners insurance, or cover routine maintenance costs for electronic devices. Question 13. Health insurance overview. Affordable Care Act implications. Which of the following is a key implication of the Affordable Care Act for individual health insurance plans in Colorado? A. Health insurance plans can deny coverage based on pre-existing conditions. B. Dependents can stay on their parents' insurance plan until age 26. C. Insurers can impose lifetime limits on essential health benefits. D. Preventive services are no longer covered without cost sharing. Correct answer. B. Dependents can stay on their parents' insurance plan until age 26. Explanation. The Affordable Care Act allows dependents to remain on their parents' health insurance plan until they turn 26, which is a key benefit aimed at providing young adults with continuous coverage during their early careers. The ACA also prohibits denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions. It imposes limits on insurers' ability to set lifetime limits on essential health benefits. C. And mandates that preventive services are covered without cost sharing. D. Question 14. Claims handling, adjusting and settlement procedures in Colorado. Which of the following is a crucial step in the claims adjusting process for personal lines insurance? A. Automatically denying all claims submitted after 30 days. B. Conducting a thorough investigation to determine the extent of the loss. C. Settling claims without requiring any documentation from the insured. D. Ignoring state regulations regarding claims settlement timelines. Correct answer. B. Conducting a thorough investigation to determine the extent of the loss. Explanation. A crucial step in the claims adjusting process is conducting a thorough investigation to determine the extent of the loss. This involves evaluating the damage, reviewing the policy terms, and gathering necessary documentation to ensure a fair settlement. Claims should not be automatically denied or settled without proper documentation, and adjusters must adhere to state regulations regarding settlement timelines to maintain compliance and protect consumers' rights. Question 15. Scenario type. Watercraft insurance. Mr. Williams, who lives in Colorado, recently purchased a new boat and wants to ensure it is adequately insured. During a trip, He accidentally collides with another boat, causing damage to both vessels. Which part of his watercraft insurance policy would typically cover the damage to the other boat? A. Physical damage coverage. B. Uninsured boaters coverage. C. Medical payments coverage. D. Liability coverage. Correct answer: D. Liability coverage. Explanation: liability coverage under a watercraft insurance policy would typically cover the damage to the other boat in the event of a collision caused by the insured. This coverage is designed to protect the insured against legal liability for bodily injury or property damage to others resulting from the operation of the insured watercraft. Physical damage coverage. A. Would cover damage to the insured's own boat. Uninsured boaters coverage. B. Provides protection if the insured is hit by an uninsured boater. And medical payments coverage. C. Covers medical expenses for the insured and passengers. Question 16. Insurance principles and concepts. Utmost good faith. What is the principle of utmost good faith in Colorado personal lines insurance? A. The insurer must pay claims regardless of policy conditions. B. Both parties must disclose all relevant information truthfully. C. The insured must pay higher premiums for full coverage. D. The policyholder can withhold information to get better rates. Correct answer: B. Both parties must disclose all relevant information truthfully. Explanation: the principle of utmost good faith requires both the insurer and the insured to act honestly and disclose all relevant information fully and truthfully. This ensures that both parties have the necessary information to enter into a fair contract. The insurer relies on the insured's complete and accurate disclosure to assess risk and determine premiums, while the insured relies on the insurer's transparency about the policy terms and coverage. Options A, C, and D are incorrect as they contradict the mutual trust and honesty fundamental to this principle. Question 17. Personal auto policy PAP. Duties after an accident or loss. Party. Which of the following actions is required under the duties after an accident or loss party in a Colorado personal auto policy? A. The insured must repair the vehicle immediately before notifying the insurer. B. The insured must submit a written proof of loss if requested by the insurer. C. The insured can leave the accident scene without contacting authorities if no one is injured. D. The insured must pay for all damages out of pocket before filing a claim. Correct answer: B. The insured must submit a written proof of loss if requested by the insurer. Explanation: under duties after an accident or loss party in a personal auto policy, the insured is required to submit a written proof of loss if requested by the insurer. This helps the insurer verify the details of the loss and process the claim. The insured should not repair the vehicle before notifying the insurer. A. Must report the accident to authorities as required. C. And should not pay out of pocket for all damages before filing a claim. D. Question 18. Dwelling policy DP. Perils covered. Which type of dwelling policy in Colorado covers the broadest range of perils? A. DEPA 1, basic form. B. DEPA 2, broad form. C. DEPA 3, special form. D. DP 4, extended form. Correct answer: C. DEPA 3, special form. Explanation: the DEPA 3 special form dwelling policy covers the broadest range of perils, providing low risk or open peril coverage for the dwelling and other structures, meaning it covers all perils except those specifically excluded. The DEPA 1 basic form covers only named perils, and the DEPA 2 broad form covers more named perils than DEPA 1, but is still limited compared to DEPA 3. There is no standard DEPA 4 extended form policy in the dwelling policy series, making it an incorrect option. Question 19. Ethics in insurance. Regulatory requirements for ethical practices. What is a regulatory requirement for ethical practices for insurance professionals in Colorado? A. Attending annual ethics training seminars. B. Donating a portion of their earnings to charity. C. Providing clients with guaranteed investment returns. D. Prioritizing sales over client needs. Correct answer: A. Attending annual ethics training seminars. Explanation: regulatory requirements for ethical practices often include attending annual ethics training seminars to ensure that insurance professionals stay informed about ethical standards and practices in the industry. These seminars help professionals understand their ethical obligations and how to comply with regulatory requirements. Donating earnings to charity. B. Is not A regulatory requirement providing guaranteed investment returns C can be misleading and unethical, and prioritizing sales over client needs D is contrary to ethical practices. Question 20. Scenario type. Homeowners insurance endorsements MS. Thompson lives in Colorado and wants to add an endorsement to her homeowner's insurance policy to cover her valuable jewelry collection. Which type of endorsement should she consider? A. Scheduled personal property endorsement. B. Dwelling coverage endorsement. C. Liability coverage endorsement. D. Loss of use endorsement. Correct answer A. Scheduled personal property endorsement. Explanation. MS. Thompson should consider a scheduled personal property endorsement to cover her valuable jewelry collection. This endorsement allows her to specifically list and insure high-value items for their appraised value, providing broader protection than the standard coverage limits for personal property. Dwelling coverage endorsement. B pertains to the home structure liability coverage endorsement. C pertains to liability risks and loss of use endorsement. D pertains to additional living expenses after a covered loss. Question 21. Inland marine insurance. Personal articles floater in Colorado. Which of the following items would typically be covered under personal articles floater in an inland marine insurance policy? A. Structural damage to the insured's home. B. Liability claims arising from property ownership. C. High-value items like jewelry, furs, and cameras. D. Medical expenses for the insured. Correct answer. C. High-value items like jewelry, furs, and cameras. Explanation. A personal articles floater under an inland marine insurance policy provides coverage for high-value items such as jewelry, furs, cameras, and other valuable personal property that might not be fully covered under a standard homeowner's insurance policy. This floater offers broader protection and higher coverage limits specifically for these items. Structural damage to the home A, liability claims B, and medical expenses D are not covered under a personal articles floater. Question 22. Earthquake insurance. Deductibles. In the context of earthquake insurance in Colorado, what is a key characteristic of deductibles? A. They are typically a fixed dollar amount like $500. B. They are usually a percentage of the coverage limit. C. They apply only to the first earthquake claim filed. D. They are waived if the earthquake is declared a state emergency. Correct answer. B. They are usually a percentage of the coverage limit. Explanation. In earthquake insurance policies, deductibles are typically expressed as a percentage of the coverage limit rather than a fixed dollar amount. This means that the deductible amount is based on the total insured value of the property, which can result in higher out-of-pocket costs for the insured in the event of a claim. Fixed dollar deductibles. A. Single claim application. C. And waiver during state emergencies. D. Are not standard features of earthquake deductibles. Question 23. Watercraft insurance. Exclusions and conditions. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage under a watercraft insurance policy in Colorado? A. Damage caused by a collision with another boat. B. Liability for bodily injury to passengers. C. Theft of the boat while it is docked. D. Damage caused by normal wear and tear. Correct answer. D. Damage caused by normal wear and tear. Explanation. Watercraft insurance policies typically exclude coverage for damage caused by normal wear and tear, which refers to the gradual deterioration of the boat due to regular use over time. This exclusion ensures that the insurance covers unexpected and accidental damage rather than predictable maintenance issues. Coverage for collision damage, A. Liability for bodily injury, B. And theft, C. are generally included under standard watercraft insurance policies. Question 24. Personal liability insurance. Liability limit is an important consideration when selecting liability limits for a personal liability insurance policy in Colorado. A. Selecting the lowest limit to save on premiums. B. Ensuring the limits are sufficient to cover potential lawsuits and judgments. C. Choosing limits based on the insured's personal preference alone. D. Matching the limits exactly to the insured's annual income. Correct answer. B. Ensuring the limits are sufficient to cover potential lawsuits and judgments. Explanation. When selecting liability limits for a personal liability insurance policy, it is crucial to ensure that the limits are sufficient to cover potential lawsuits and judgments. This helps protect the insured's financial assets in the event of a significant liability claim, while saving on premiums. A. And personal preference. C. May be considerations. They should not outweigh the need for adequate coverage. Matching limits to annual income. D is not a standard practice and may not provide sufficient protection. Question 25. Emerging issues in personal lines insurance. Impact of climate change. How is climate change expected to impact personal lines insurance in Colorado? A. Decreased frequency of weather-related claims. B. Increased demand for specialized coverage options. C. Reduced importance of flood insurance. D. Lower premiums for property insurance. Correct answer. B. Increased demand for specialized coverage options. Explanation. Climate change is expected to lead to an increased demand for specialized coverage options as the frequency and severity of weather-related events, such as floods, wildfires, and hailstorms, rise. This shift necessitates more comprehensive and tailored insurance products to address emerging risks. Contrary to options and D, weather-related claims are likely to increase, leading to higher premiums for property insurance. The importance of flood insurance. C is expected to grow, not diminish, as climate change exacerbates flood risks. Question 26. Insurance principles and concepts. Principles of indemnity. What does the principle of indemnity ensure in Colorado personal lines insurance? A. The insurer profits from a loss. B. The insurer pays more than the actual value of the loss. C. The insured is restored to their financial position before the loss. D. The insured receives a lump sum regardless of the loss amount. Correct answer. C. The insured is restored to their financial position before the loss. Explanation. The principle of indemnity ensures that the insured is restored to their financial position before the loss occurred without profiting from the insurance claim. This principle prevents the insured from gaining more than the actual value of the loss, maintaining fairness and reducing moral hazard. Options A, B, and D contradict this principle as they imply profit or overpayment. Question 27. Personal auto policy PAP. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. Part C in Colorado. What is the purpose of uninsured underinsured motorist coverage in a personal auto policy? A. To cover damages to the insured's vehicle regardless of fault. B. To pay for medical expenses regardless of who is at fault. C. To protect the insured against drivers without adequate insurance. D. To cover rental car expenses after an accident. Correct answer. C. To protect the insured against drivers without adequate insurance. Explanation. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage. Part C in a personal auto policy protects the insured against drivers who either have no insurance or insufficient insurance to cover the damages and injuries they cause in an accident. This coverage ensures that the insured can still receive compensation for their losses when the responsible party cannot fully cover the costs. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the purpose of this coverage. Question 28. Flood insurance. National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP. Which of the following statements is true about the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, in Colorado? A. It is designed to provide affordable flood insurance to high-risk areas. B. It is only available to commercial properties. C. It covers damage from all types of water-related incidents. D. It does not require participating communities to adopt floodplain management regulations. Correct answer, A. It is designed to provide affordable flood insurance to high-risk areas. Explanation. The National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, is designed to provide affordable flood insurance to properties in high-risk flood areas and to encourage communities to adopt and enforce floodplain management regulations to reduce future flood damage. It is available to both residential and commercial properties. Option C is incorrect as NFIP coverage is specifically for flooding and does not cover all types of water-related incidents. Option D is incorrect as participation in NFIP requires communities to adopt certain floodplain management regulations. Question 29. Personal umbrella policy. Coverage features and benefits. What is a key benefit of having a personal umbrella policy in Colorado? A. It eliminates the need for other types of insurance. B. It provides additional liability coverage above the limits of underlying policies. C. It automatically covers all types of personal property damage. D. It reduces the premiums of all other insurance policies. Correct answer. B. It provides additional liability coverage above the limits of underlying policies. Explanation. A key benefit of a personal umbrella policy is that it provides additional liability coverage above the limits of the insured's underlying policies, such as homeowners, auto or watercraft insurance. This extra coverage helps protect against large liability claims and lawsuits that exceed the limits of the primary policies. Options. And C are incorrect, as an umbrella policy does not replace other types of insurance or cover personal property damage. Option D is incorrect, as it does not reduce premiums of other policies, but provides extra protection. Question 30. Scenario type. Health insurance overview. Mr. Anderson, a resident of Colorado, recently changed jobs and is considering enrolling in an individual health insurance plan. He has a chronic health condition that requires regular treatment. Which health insurance option should he consider to ensure his condition is covered? A. A short-term health insurance plan. B. A high-deductible health per HSP without a health savings account HSA. C. A plan under the Affordable Care Act, a CARE, marketplace. D. A catastrophic health insurance plan. Correct answer. C. A plan under the Affordable Care Act, a CARE, marketplace. Explanation. Mr. Anderson should consider a plan under the Affordable Care Act, a CARE, marketplace because SCA plans are required to cover pre-existing conditions without charging higher premiums based on health status. This ensures that his chronic health condition will be covered. Short-term health insurance plans often do not cover pre-existing conditions. High-deductible health plans without an HSA B may have high out-of-pocket costs, and catastrophic health plans D are typically limited to very high deductible coverage and are not designed for regular treatment needs. Question 31. Personal auto policy PAP. Coverage for damage to your auto Part D in Colorado. What does coverage for damage to your auto Part D in a personal auto policy typically include? A. Liability for damage caused to other vehicles. B. Medical expenses for passengers in the insured's vehicle. C. Collision and comprehensive coverage for the insured's vehicle. D. Legal defense costs in case of a lawsuit. Correct answer. C. Collision and comprehensive coverage for the insured's vehicle. Explanation. Coverage for damage to your auto Part D in a personal auto policy typically includes collision coverage, which pays for damage to the insured's vehicle resulting from a collision with another vehicle or object, and comprehensive coverage, which pays for damage caused by incidents other than collision, such as theft, vandalism, or natural disasters. Liability for damage to other vehicles A. Medical expenses for passengers B. And legal defense costs D are covered under different parts of the policy. Question 32. Homeowners insurance. Loss of use coverage D. Which situation would typically be covered under loss of use coverage D in a homeowners insurance policy in Colorado? A. Theft of personal property from the insured's home. B. Additional living expenses incurred due to the home being uninhabitable after a fire. C. Medical expenses for injuries to guests on the insured's property. D. Legal defense costs for a liability lawsuit. Correct answer. B. Additional living expenses incurred due to the home being uninhabitable after fire. Explanation. Loss of use coverage D in a homeowner's insurance policy covers additional living expenses incurred if the insured's home becomes uninhabitable due to a covered peril, such as a fire. This coverage helps pay for temporary housing, meals, and other increased living costs while the home is being repaired or rebuilt. Theft of personal property A. Medical expenses for guest injuries C. And legal defense costs D are covered under different parts of the homeowner's insurance policy. Question 33. Inland marine insurance. Coverage for valuable personal property. Which of the following types of coverage would best protect a high-value painting in Colorado? A. Homeowners insurance coverage C. B. Personal articles floater under inland marine insurance. C. Liability coverage under a personal umbrella policy. D. Dwelling coverage under homeowners policy. Correct answer. B. Personal articles floater under inland marine insurance. Explanation. A personal articles floater under inland marine insurance provides specialized coverage for high-value items such as paintings, jewelry, and other valuable personal property. This floater offers broader protection and higher coverage limits than standard homeowners insurance coverage CA. Liability coverage under a personal umbrella policy C and dwelling coverage under a homeowners policy D do not provide specific coverage for valuable personal property like a high-value painting. Question 34. Ethics in insurance. Professional ethics and conduct in Colorado. What is the key aspect of maintaining professional ethics and conduct as an insurance agent? A. Prioritizing sales quotas over client needs. B. Disclosing all relevant policy information to clients. C. Encouraging clients to underreport property values to save on premiums. D. Ignoring state regulations if they conflict with sales goals. Correct answer: B. Disclosing all relevant policy information to clients. Explanation: a key aspect of maintaining professional ethics and conduct as an insurance agent is disclosing all relevant policy information to clients. This ensures that clients are fully informed about the terms, conditions, and coverage of the policies they purchase, allowing them to make educated decisions. Prioritizing sales quotas. A. Encouraging underreporting. C. In ignoring state regulations. D. Are unethical practices that can harm clients and violate regulatory standards. Question 35. Scenario type. Dwelling policy (DP) coverage parts. Mr. Garcia owns a rental property in Colorado that is insured under E3 Special Form Dwelling Policy. A severe storm causes significant damage to the property, making it uninhabitable. Which coverage part of his DPA 3 policy would compensate him for the loss of rental income during the repair period? A. Coverage was dwelling. B. Coverage B. Other structures. C. Coverage C. Personal property. D. Coverage D. Fair rental value. Correct answer: D. Coverage D. Fair rental value. Explanation: Coverage D. Fair rental value in a D3 Special Form Dwelling Policy compensates the insured for the loss of rental income if the property becomes uninhabitable due to a covered peril, such as a severe storm. This coverage helps the property owner maintain income while repairs are being made. Coverage D. Dwelling A. Covers the structure of the rental property. Coverage B. Other structures. B. Covers detached structures. And coverage C. Personal property. C. Covers personal belongings within the rental property. Question 36. Personal auto policy PAP. Liability coverage. Part A. In Colorado, which of the following would be covered under liability coverage? Part A of a personal auto policy. A. Damage to the insured's own vehicle in a collision. B. Medical expenses for the insured after an accident. C. Damage the insured causes to another person's property. D. The cost of towing the insured's vehicle. Correct answer: C. Damage the insured causes to another person's property. Explanation: Liability coverage. Part A in a personal auto policy covers damages that the insured is legally obligated to pay to others for bodily injury or property damage resulting from an auto accident for which the insured is at fault. This includes damage the insured causes to another person's property. Damage to the insured's own vehicle. A. Medical expenses for the insured. B. And towing costs. D. Are covered under different parts of the policy, such as collision coverage. Part D. Medical payments coverage. Part B. And towing and labor cost coverage, respectively. Question 37. Homeowners insurance. Policy exclusions and conditions. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage in a standard homeowners insurance policy in Colorado? A. Fire damage to the dwelling. B. Theft of personal property. C. Earthquake damage. D. Liability for injuries to guests. Correct answer: C. Earthquake damage. Explanation: Standard homeowners insurance policies typically exclude coverage for earthquake damage. To cover this risk, homeowners must purchase a separate earthquake insurance policy or endorsement. Fire damage. A. Theft of personal property. B. And liability for injuries to guests. D. Are generally included in standard homeowners insurance policies under the appropriate coverage sections. Question 38. Health insurance overview. Affordable Care Act (ACA). Implications under the Affordable Care Act (ACA). What is a significant benefit for individuals with pre-existing conditions in Colorado? A. They can be charged higher premiums based on their health status. B. They can be denied coverage by health insurers. C. They are guaranteed coverage without being charged higher premiums based on their health status. D. They can only get limited coverage for their pre-existing conditions. Correct answer: C. They are guaranteed coverage without being charged higher premiums based on their health status. Explanation: Under the Affordable Care Act (ACA), individuals with pre-existing conditions are guaranteed coverage without being charged higher premiums based on their health status. This provision ensures that those with pre-existing conditions have access to comprehensive health insurance coverage on the same terms as individuals without such conditions. Charging higher premiums. A. Denying coverage. B. And offering limited coverage. D. If pre-existing conditions are prohibited under the ACA. Question 39. Personal liability insurance. Exclusions and conditions. Which of the following scenarios is typically excluded from coverage under a personal liability insurance policy in Colorado? A. The insured accidentally injures a guest in their home. B. The insured is sued for defamation. C. The insured intentionally damages a neighbor's property. D. The insured's dog bites a passerby. Correct answer: C. The insured intentionally damages a neighbor's property. Explanation: intentional acts, such as the insured intentionally damaging a neighbor's property, are typically excluded from coverage under a personal liability insurance policy. Liability insurance is designed to cover accidental or negligent acts that cause harm to others, not intentional misconduct. Accidental injury to a guest, their defamation lawsuits, B, and dog bites, D, are generally covered under personal liability insurance provided they are accidental and not intentional. Question 40. Emerging issues in personal lines insurance. Cyber risk and insurance. How is the rise of cyber risk influencing personal lines insurance in Colorado? A. Insurers are offering standalone cyber insurance policies for individuals. B. Insurers are reducing coverage for digital assets. C. Cyber risk is not considered relevant to personal lines insurance. D. Cyber insurance policies are being phased out due to low demand. Correct answer: A. Insurers are offering standalone cyber insurance policies for individuals. Explanation: the rise of cyber risk is leading insurers to offer standalone cyber insurance policies for individuals. These policies provide coverage for a variety of cyber-related risks, including identity theft, data breaches, and cyber extortion. This is a growing area of concern as more individuals rely on digital technologies. Contrary to options B and D, insurers are increasing coverage for digital assets and there is rising demand for cyber insurance. Option C is incorrect as cyber risk is increasingly relevant to personal lines insurance. Question 41. Personal umbrella policy. Exclusions and conditions. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage under personal umbrella policy in Colorado? A. Excess liability claims beyond the limits of underlying policies. B. Legal defense costs for covered claims. C. Liability arising from business activities. D. Liability for personal injuries to third parties. Correct answer: C. Liability arising from business activities. Explanation: a personal umbrella policy is designed to provide additional liability coverage beyond the limits of the insured's underlying personal policies, such as auto or homeowners insurance, and to cover legal defense costs for covered claims. However, liability arising from business activities is typically excluded, as such risks are better addressed through a separate business liability policy. Excess liability claims, legal defense costs, B, and liability for personal injuries to third parties, D, are generally covered. Question 42. Insurance principles and concepts. Insurable interest. Why is insurable interest required in an insurance contract in Colorado? A. To ensure the insurer can deny claims easily. B. To prevent the policyholder from profiting from a loss. C. To increase the complexity of the insurance application process. D. To make sure the policyholder benefits financially from a loss. Correct answer: B. To prevent the policyholder from profiting from a loss. Explanation: insurable interest is required in an insurance contract to prevent the policyholder from profiting from a loss. It ensures that the policyholder has a legitimate financial interest in the insured property or person, which helps mitigate moral hazard and aligns the purpose of insurance with its core principle of indemnity. This requirement ensures that insurance remains a tool for risk management rather than a speculative venture. Options A, C, and D do not accurately reflect the purpose of insurable interest. Question 43. Flood insurance. Increased cost of compliance. What does the increased cost of compliance coverage in a national flood insurance program and FIP policy in Colorado provide? A. Compensation for the market value of the property. B. Reimbursement for additional living expenses during repairs. C. Funds to help bring the property into compliance with current floodplain management regulations. D. Payment for temporary flood barriers. Correct answer: C. Funds to help bring the property into compliance with current floodplain management regulations. Explanation: increased cost of compliance coverage in a national flood insurance program. NFIP policy provides funds to help the property owner bring the insured building into compliance with current floodplain management regulations after flood loss. This can include costs associated with elevating, relocating, or demolishing the building to reduce future flood risk. Compensation for market value. A. Additional living expenses, B, and payment for temporary flood barriers, D, are not covered by ICC. Question 44. Homeowners insurance. Additional coverages. Which of the following is an example of an additional coverage that might be included in a Colorado homeowners insurance policy? A. Coverage for structural damage due to termites. B. Coverage for identity theft expenses. C. Coverage for routine maintenance costs. D. Coverage for wear and tear of appliances. Correct answer: B. Coverage for identity theft expenses. Explanation: many homeowners insurance policies offer additional coverages, such as coverage for identity theft expenses. This can include reimbursement for costs related to restoring one's identity, such as legal fees, lost wages, and costs of reissuing identification documents. Structural damage due to termites, A. Routine maintenance costs, C. And wear and tear of appliances, D. Are typically excluded from standard homeowners insurance policies as they are considered preventable or part of regular upkeep. Question 45. Scenario type. Claims handling. MS Turner, a homeowner in Colorado, experiences significant water damage to her home after a pipe bursts. She promptly notifies her insurance company and begins the claims process. Which of the following steps should she expect as part of the claims investigation? A. The insurer will immediately provide full payment based on her initial estimate. B. An adjuster will be assigned to assess the damage and determine the cause. C. The insurer will deny the claim if the pipe burst during regular use. D. MS Turner must handle all repairs before the insurer evaluates the damage. Correct answer: B. An adjuster will be assigned to assess the damage and determine the cause. Explanation: as part of the claims investigation process, the insurer will assign an adjuster to assess the damage and determine the cause of the water damage. The adjuster will evaluate the extent of the damage, verify the cause, and help determine the appropriate amount of coverage under the policy. The insurer does not provide full payment immediately, deny claims without proper investigation, C, or require repairs to be completed before evaluation. D. Question 46. Personal auto policy PAP. Medical payments coverage, Part B in Colorado. What does medical payments coverage, Part B, in a personal auto policy typically cover? A. Legal defense costs in an auto accident lawsuit. B. Medical expenses for the insured and passengers, regardless of fault. C. Damage to the insured's vehicle from a collision. D. Loss of use expenses for a rental car. Correct answer: B. Medical expenses for the insured and passengers, regardless of fault. Explanation: medical payments coverage, Part B, in a personal auto policy covers medical expenses for the insured and passengers in the insured's vehicle, regardless of who is at fault in the accident. This coverage helps pay for medical and funeral expenses resulting from an auto accident. Legal defense costs, A. Damage to the insured's vehicle, C. And loss of use expenses for a rental car, D. Are covered under different parts of the policy, such as liability coverage, Part A, collision coverage, Part D, and rental reimbursement coverage, respectively. Question 48. Watercraft insurance. Types of watercraft policies. Which type of watercraft policy would provide comprehensive coverage for a privately owned sailboat used for recreational purposes in Colorado? A. Yacht policy. B. Homeowners policy. C. Personal articles floater. D. Inland marine policy. Correct answer: A. Yacht policy. Explanation: a yacht policy is specifically designed to provide comprehensive coverage for larger privately owned watercraft used for recreational purposes, such as a sailboat. This type of policy typically includes liability coverage, physical damage coverage, and coverage for medical payments. A homeowner's policy, B, or personal articles floater, C, would not provide the necessary specialized coverage, and an inland marine policy, D, is typically used for movable, personal property rather than watercraft. Question 49. Insurance regulation. Licensing requirements for agents and brokers. What is a primary requirement for obtaining an insurance license as an agent or broker in Colorado? A. Passing a background check. B. Having a minimum of 10 years of industry experience. C. Submitting a portfolio of successful sales. D. Completing a college degree in finance. Correct answer: A. Passing a background check. Explanation: a primary requirement for obtaining an insurance license as an agent or broker in Colorado is passing a background check. This ensures that applicants meet the state's ethical and legal standards. While industry experience, B. A portfolio of sales, C. And a finance degree, D. May be beneficial. They are not primary requirements for licensing. Additionally, applicants must pass the state licensing examination and complete pre-licensing education courses. Question 50. Ethics in insurance. Regulatory requirements for ethical practices in Colorado. Which of the following actions is considered an unethical practice for an insurance agent? A. Recommending additional coverage options to a client. B. Misrepresenting policy terms to secure a sale. C. Regularly reviewing clients' coverage needs. D. Assisting clients with filing claims. Correct answer. B. Misrepresenting policy terms to secure a sale. Explanation. Misrepresenting policy terms to secure a sale is considered an unethical practice for an insurance agent in Colorado. Ethical practices require agents to provide accurate and truthful information about insurance products to clients. Recommending additional coverage options. A. Regularly reviewing clients' coverage needs. C. And assisting clients with filing claims. D. Are considered ethical and beneficial practices that support the client's best interests and ensure they have appropriate coverage. Question 51. Homeowners insurance. Personal property coverage C. In Colorado, which of the following types of property would typically have a sublimit under personal property coverage C in a homeowner's insurance policy? A. Furniture. B. Clothing. C. Jewelry. D. Electronics. Correct answer. C. Jewelry. Explanation. Under personal property coverage C in a homeowner's insurance policy, certain types of high-value items, such as jewelry, often have sublimits, meaning there is a cap on the amount of coverage provided for these items. This is because they are more susceptible to theft and loss. For example, a policy might limit coverage for jewelry to $1,500 per incident unless additional coverage is purchased through an endorsement. Furniture. A. Clothing. B. And electronics. D. Generally do not have specific sublimits, although they are subject to the overall personal property coverage limit. However, individual high-value electronics might also benefit from additional coverage depending on their value. Question 52. Personal umbrella policy. Underwriting considerations. What factor is typically considered during the underwriting process for a personal umbrella policy in Colorado? A. Vehicle mileage. B. Credit score. C. Number of dependents. D. Occupation. Correct answer. B. Credit score. Explanation. During the underwriting process for a personal umbrella policy, insurers typically consider the applicant's credit score among other factors. A higher credit score indicates financial responsibility, which may correlate with low risk and could result in low premiums or better coverage terms. Vehicle mileage. A. Number of dependents. C. And occupation. D. Are also factors that insurers may consider for other types of insurance, but they are not typically primary considerations for a personal umbrella policy. Question 53. Earthquake insurance. Deductibles in Colorado. What is a characteristic of deductibles for earthquake insurance policies? A. They are percentage-based. B. They are waived for government buildings. C. They are fixed amounts per occurrence. D. They do not apply to personal property. Correct answer. A. They are percentage-based. Explanation. Deductibles for earthquake insurance policies in Colorado are typically percentage-based, meaning they are calculated as a percentage of the insured property's coverage limit rather than a fixed amount. This structure helps align the deductible with the potential magnitude of earthquake damage. Government buildings. B. May have specific provisions, but general policies often have percentage-based deductibles. Fixed amount deductibles per occurrence. C. And personal property exclusions. D. Are less common in earthquake insurance policies. Question 54. Health insurance overview. High deductible health plan insurance. What is a key characteristic of high deductible health plan insurance under Colorado health insurance regulations? A. They offer coverage for pre-existing conditions without waiting periods. B. They have lower out-of-pocket maximum limits compared to other plans. C. They are only available to individuals under 30 years old. D. They are paired with health savings accounts HSAS. Correct answer. D. They are paired with health savings accounts HSAS. Explanation. A key characteristic of high-deductible health plan insurance under Colorado health insurance regulations is that they are paired with health savings accounts HSAS. HS allow individuals to save money for medical expenses on a tax-advantaged basis. HDHPS typically have higher deductibles and low premiums compared to traditional health plans, encouraging individuals to use their HSA funds for routine healthcare expenses. Options A, B, and C do not accurately describe HDHPS or their regulatory requirements. Question 55. Personal lines insurance. Role and importance. What is a primary role of personal lines insurance in Colorado? A. Providing coverage for large commercial enterprises. B. Offering specialized insurance for personal liability. C. Protecting individuals and families from financial loss. D. Regulating insurance premiums. Correct answer. C. Protecting individuals and families from financial loss. Explanation. A primary role of personal lines insurance in Colorado is to protect individuals and families from financial loss due to unexpected events such as accidents, theft, or natural disasters. This type of insurance provides coverage for personal property, liability, and other risks that individuals face in their daily lives. While personal lines insurance may include specialized coverage for personal liability, its primary function is broader in scope, focusing on individual and family financial protection rather than regulating premiums, or covering large commercial enterprises. Question 56. Dwelling policy DP. Coverage D. Fair rental value. What does coverage D, fair rental value, in a dwelling policy DP typically cover in Colorado? A. The cost to repair damage to the insured dwelling. B. Loss of rental income due to damage to the insured property. C. Additional living expenses for the insured after a covered loss. D. Liability for injuries to guests on the insured property. Correct answer. B. Loss of rental income due to damage to the insured property. Explanation. Coverage D, fair rental value, in a dwelling policy DP typically covers loss of rental income that the insured would have received if a rental property becomes uninhabitable due to a covered loss, such as fire or windstorm. This coverage helps the insured maintain rental income while repairs are being made. The cost to repair damage to the insured dwelling is covered under coverage for dwelling. Additional living expenses C and liability for injuries to guests D are covered under other parts of the policy. Question 57. Flood insurance. Policy exclusions. What is commonly excluded from coverage under the building property section of a flood insurance policy in Colorado? A. Damage to personal belongings inside the insured building. B. Loss of use of the insured property during repairs. C. Mold damage caused by water intrusion. D. Structural damage to the insured building. Correct answer. C. Mold damage caused by water intrusion. Explanation. Mold damage caused by water intrusion is commonly excluded from coverage under the building property section of a flood insurance policy in Colorado. While the policy covers direct physical damage caused by flooding, mold damage resulting from prolonged exposure to moisture or humidity is generally considered a maintenance issue rather than a direct consequence of flooding. Damage to personal belongings, A. Loss of use, B. and structural damage, D. are typically covered under the policy's building property section. Question 58. Ethics in insurance. Professional conduct. What should insurance professionals prioritize to maintain ethical conduct in Colorado? A. Maximizing profits for the insurance company. B. Disclosing all relevant information to clients. C. Avoiding communication with regulatory authorities. D. Making decisions based solely on personal beliefs. Correct answer. B. Disclosing all relevant information to clients. Explanation. To maintain ethical conduct in Colorado, insurance professionals should prioritize disclosing all relevant information to clients. This includes providing accurate and complete information about insurance products, coverage options, terms and conditions. Ethical conduct involves acting in the best interests of clients and ensuring transparency in all dealings. Maximizing profits, avoiding communication with regulatory authorities. C. And making decisions based on personal beliefs. D. Do not align with ethical standards in the insurance industry. Question 59. Personal auto policy PAP. General provisions of Part F. What is a typical provision found in Part F? General provisions of a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado. A. Coverage limits for bodily injury liability. B. Procedures for filing a claim with the insurer. C. Definitions of covered vehicles. D. Exclusions for intentional acts. Correct answer. D. Exclusions for intentional acts. Explanation. Part F. General provisions of a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado typically includes exclusions for intentional acts. This provision clarifies that the policy does not cover damages resulting from intentional acts or misconduct by the insured. Coverage limits. Procedures for filing a claim B. And definitions of covered vehicles. C. Are addressed in other parts of the policy, such as declarations, Part A, and insuring agreements, Part B. Question 60. Health insurance overview. Affordable Care Act account. Implications under the Affordable Care Act account. What is a key benefit for individuals purchasing health insurance in Colorado? A. Limited options for coverage based on pre-existing conditions. B. Guaranteed renewal of coverage regardless of health status. C. Increased premiums based on gender and age. D. Coverage exclusions for essential health benefits. Correct answer. B. Guaranteed renewal of coverage regardless of health status. Explanation. Under the Affordable Care Act account, individuals purchasing health insurance in Colorado are guaranteed the right to renew their coverage regardless of their health status. This provision prevents insurers from denying coverage or charging higher premiums based on pre-existing conditions. The ACA also prohibits discriminatory premium practices based on gender and age, C, and mandates coverage for essential health benefits, D, further enhancing consumer protections in the health insurance market. Question 61. Personal liability insurance. Coverage overview. What does personal liability insurance typically cover in Colorado? A. Damage to the insured's personal property. B. Medical expenses for the insured and their family members. C. Legal defense costs for covered claims of bodily injury or property damage. D. Loss of income due to disability. Correct answer. C. Legal defense costs for covered claims of bodily injury or property damage. Explanation. Personal liability insurance in Colorado typically covers legal defense costs for covered claims of bodily injury or property damage brought against the insured. This coverage helps protect the insured's assets in the event they are found legally responsible for injuring someone or damaging their property. Damage to personal property. A. Medical expenses. B. And loss of income due to disability. D. Are covered under other types of insurance policies, such as homeowners or health insurance. Question 62. Insurance regulation. State insurance departments. What is a primary function of the state insurance department in Colorado? A. Setting insurance premiums for all insurers operating in the state. B. Reviewing and approving insurance policies before they can be sold. C. Investigating claims of insurance fraud and misconduct. D. Providing free insurance coverage to low-income residents. Correct answer. C. Investigating claims of insurance fraud and misconduct. Explanation. A primary function of the state insurance department in Colorado is to investigate claims of insurance fraud and misconduct. The department ensures that insurance companies and agents comply with state insurance laws and regulations protecting consumers from fraudulent practices. Setting insurance premiums. A. Reviewing and approving policies. B. And providing free insurance coverage. D. Are not typically within the scope of responsibilities of the state insurance department. Question 63. Emerging issues in personal lines insurance. Cyber risk and insurance. How does cyber risk impact personal lines insurance policies in Colorado? A. It increases premiums for homeowners insurance policies. B. It excludes coverage for identity theft and data breaches. C. It necessitates additional coverage through endorsements or separate policies. D. It is covered under standard personal umbrella policies. Correct answer. C. It necessitates additional coverage through endorsements or separate policies. Explanation. Cyber risk impacts personal lines insurance policies in Colorado by necessitating additional coverage through endorsements or separate cyber insurance policies. Standard homeowners or personal umbrella policies typically do not provide adequate coverage for cyber-related risks, such as identity theft, data breaches, or cyber extortion. Insurers offer specialized cyber insurance products to address these emerging risks, allowing policyholders to customize coverage based on their needs and exposures. Question 64. Claims handling. Dispute resolution and litigation in Colorado. What is a common method of dispute resolution in insurance claims handling? A. Mediation. B. Arbitration. C. Litigation. D. Conciliation. Correct answer. A. Mediation. Explanation. In Colorado, mediation is a common method of dispute resolution in insurance claims handling. Mediation involves a neutral third party facilitating negotiations between the insured and the insurer to reach a mutually acceptable settlement. It is often preferred because it can be less adversarial and more cost-effective than litigation. Arbitration, B, and litigation, C, are other dispute resolution methods that may be used if mediation fails or is not suitable. Conciliation, D, is less commonly used in insurance claims resolution. Question 65. Homeowners insurance. Endorsements and riders. What is the purpose of an endorsement or rider in a Colorado homeowners insurance policy? A, to reduce the coverage limits of the policy. B, to increase the deductible for certain perils. C, to modify or add coverage to the standard policy. D, to exclude specific perils from coverage. Correct answer: C, to modify or add coverage to the standard policy. Explanation: an endorsement or rider in a Colorado homeowners insurance policy is used to modify or add coverage to the standard policy. It allows policyholders to customize their insurance coverage based on their specific needs or to address unique risks not covered under the standard policy. Endorsements typically expand coverage for additional risks or provide specific enhancements, such as coverage for high-value items or additional liability protection. They do not reduce coverage limits. They increase deductibles, B, or exclude specific perils, D, which are typically addressed through policy terms and conditions. Question 66. Personal auto policy PAP. Duties after an accident or loss. Part A. What are typical duties of the insured under Part A? Duties after an accident or loss of a personal auto policy PAP. In Colorado, A. Notify the insurance company promptly and cooperate in the investigation of the claim. B. Repair the vehicle at the insured's expense. C. Admit fault in the accident to expedite claim processing. D. Decline medical treatment for injuries sustained. Correct answer: A. Notify the insurance company promptly and cooperate in the investigation of the claim. Explanation: under Part A, duties after an accident or loss of a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado. Typical duties of the insured include promptly notifying the insurance company of the accident or loss and cooperating in the investigation of the claim. This ensures that the insurer can assess the situation and process the claim efficiently. Repairing the vehicle, B. Admitting fault, C. And declining medical treatment, D. Are not duties outlined under this section of the policy and may not be advisable actions following an accident. Question 67. Flood insurance. Increased cost of compliance coverage. What does increased cost of compliance coverage typically provide under a flood insurance policy in Colorado? A. Reimbursement for damage caused by floods. B. Funding for flood prevention measures. C. Additional coverage for temporary housing expenses. D. Financial assistance for compliance with floodplain management regulations. Correct answer: D. Financial assistance for compliance with floodplain management regulations. Explanation: increased cost of compliance coverage under a flood insurance policy in Colorado typically provides financial assistance to policyholders for compliance with floodplain management regulations. This coverage helps cover the costs associated with mitigating future flood risk after a covered flood loss. Reimbursement for flood damage, A. Funding for flood prevention measures, B. And coverage for temporary housing expenses, C. Are addressed under other sections of the flood policy. Question 68. Homeowners insurance. Perils insured against. Which type of perils are typically covered under the dwelling coverage? Coverage A of a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado. A. All perils unless specifically excluded. B. Only named perils listed in the policy. C. Perils resulting from earthquakes and floods. D. Perils related to intentional acts by the insured. Correct answer: A. All perils unless specifically excluded. Explanation: dwelling coverage. Coverage A of a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado typically covers all perils unless specifically excluded. This means that the policy provides broad coverage for a wide range of risks that could cause damage to the insured dwelling unless a particular peril is listed as an exclusion. Named perils policies, B. Specify exactly which perils are covered, while comprehensive policies, A. Cover all perils except those explicitly excluded. Question 69. Personal umbrella policy. Coverage features. What additional coverage does a personal umbrella policy provide in Colorado? A. Primary liability coverage. B. Coverage for personal property losses. C. Coverage for flood damage. D. Coverage for liability claims exceeding underlying policy limits. Correct answer: D. Coverage for liability claims exceeding underlying policy limits. Explanation: A personal umbrella policy in Colorado provides coverage for liability claims that exceed the limits of underlying insurance policies, such as homeowners or auto insurance. This additional coverage kicks in after the limits of the underlying policies have been exhausted, providing extra protection against catastrophic losses and higher liability claims. It does not provide primary liability coverage, A, coverage for personal property losses, B, or coverage for specific perils like flood damage, C. Question 70. Insurance principles and concepts. Risk management process. What is a fundamental step in the risk management process for insurance? A. Avoidance. B. Acceptance. C. Retention. D. Sharing. Correct answer A. Avoidance. Explanation. Avoidance is a fundamental step in the risk management process for insurance. It involves taking actions to eliminate or avoid risks altogether, thereby preventing potential losses or liabilities. Other steps include risk acceptance, B. Risk retention, C. Where the insured assumes some or all of the risk, and risk sharing, D. Where the risk is transferred to another party, such as through insurance or contracts. Question 71. Personal lines insurance. Insurable interest. What is the concept of insurable interest in Colorado personal lines insurance? A. It refers to the insured's ability to receive insurance benefits. B. It requires a direct financial stake in the insured property or person. C. It pertains to the insurer's obligation to pay claims promptly. D. It allows the insured to change coverage limits at any time. Correct answer. B. It requires a direct financial stake in the insured property or person. Explanation. In Colorado personal lines insurance, insurable interest requires the insured to have a direct financial stake in the insured property or person. This ensures that the insured would suffer a financial loss if the property or person were damaged or lost, providing a legitimate reason to insure against such loss. Insurable interest supports the principle of indemnity in insurance contracts. Options A, C, and D do not accurately describe insurable interest, but rather other aspects of insurance contracts. Question 72. Health insurance overview. Preferred provider organizations, PPOS. What is a key characteristic of preferred provider organizations, PPOS, under Colorado health insurance regulations? A. They require referrals to see specialists. B. They offer lower premiums compared to HMOs. C. They have a network of healthcare providers. D. They do not cover out-of-network services. Correct answer. C. They have a network of healthcare providers. Explanation. A key characteristic of preferred provider organizations, PPOS, under Colorado health insurance regulations is that they have a network of healthcare providers with whom they have negotiated discounted rates for their members. PPO members have the flexibility to see specialists without a referral. Although referrals may be encouraged for cost containment, PPOS typically offer more flexibility than HMOs, B, in choosing healthcare providers, but may still cover out-of-network services, D, at a reduced rate. Question 73. Inland marine insurance. Personal effects coverage. What does personal effects coverage typically provide under an inland marine insurance policy in Colorado? A. Coverage for valuable personal property that travels with the insured. B. Coverage for damage to personal property inside the insured's home. C. Coverage for medical expenses incurred while traveling. D. Coverage for liability claims related to watercraft. Correct answer A. Coverage for valuable personal property that travels with the insured. Explanation. Personal effects coverage under an inland marine insurance policy in Colorado typically provides coverage for valuable personal property that travels with the insured, such as jewelry, cameras, or laptops. This coverage is designed to protect these items from loss or damage while away from the insured's home, which may not be covered under a standard homeowner's policy. Coverage for damage inside the insured's home. B. Medical expenses. C. And liability claims related to watercraft. D. Are addressed under other types of insurance policies. Question 74. Emerging issues in personal lines insurance. Autonomous vehicles. How do autonomous vehicles impact personal lines insurance in Colorado? A. They reduce the need for liability coverage. B. They increase premiums for personal auto policies. C. They require specific endorsements for coverage. D. They shift liability from drivers to manufacturers. Correct answer. D. They shift liability from drivers to manufacturers. Explanation: autonomous vehicles impact personal lines insurance in Colorado by shifting liability from drivers to manufacturers and technology companies responsible for the autonomous vehicle systems. As vehicles become more autonomous, questions arise regarding liability for accidents, software failures, and mechanical errors. Insurers may need to adapt policies and coverage to address these new risk exposures. Autonomous vehicles do not generally reduce the need for liability coverage, but may impact premiums, B, and require specific endorsements, C, as technology evolves. Question 75. Dwelling policy DP. Coverage E. Additional living expense. What does coverage E? Additional living expense in a dwelling policy DP typically cover in Colorado: A, legal expenses incurred during a covered loss, B, expenses for repairing damage to the insured dwelling, C, costs for temporary housing and living expenses, D, compensation for injuries to guests on the insured property. Correct answer: C, costs for temporary housing and living expenses. Explanation: coverage E. Additional living expense in a dwelling policy DP typically covers costs for temporary housing and living expenses if the insured dwelling becomes uninhabitable due to a covered loss, such as a fire or storm damage. This coverage helps maintain the insured's standard of living while repairs are being made. Legal expenses, A, repair expenses, B, and compensation for injuries, D, are covered under other parts of the policy, such as liability coverage, coverage F, and coverage with dwelling. Question 76. Homeowners insurance. Other structures coverage. Coverage B. What does other structures coverage? Coverage B typically cover in a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado: A, personal property located inside the insured dwelling. B, additional living expenses while the insured property is being repaired. C, damage to structures on the insured property, such as a detached garage. D, liability for injuries to guests on the insured property. Correct answer: C, damage to structures on the insured property, such as a detached garage. Explanation: other structures coverage. Coverage B in a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado typically covers damage to structures on the insured property that are separate from the main dwelling, such as a detached garage, shed, or fence. This coverage helps protect these structures from covered perils, such as fire, vandalism, or windstorm. Coverage for personal property, A, is provided under coverage C, while additional living expenses, B, and liability, D, are covered under other parts of the policy. Question 77. Personal auto policy PAP. Uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C. What does uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C, typically provide in a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado? A, coverage for medical payments for the insured and passengers. B, coverage for damage to the insured vehicle caused by an uninsured driver. C, coverage for legal expenses in case of a lawsuit related to an accident. D, coverage for bodily injury caused by a driver with insufficient insurance. Correct answer: D, coverage for bodily injury caused by a driver with insufficient insurance. Explanation: uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C, in a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado typically provides coverage for bodily injury sustained by the insured and passengers caused by a driver who either has no insurance, uninsured, or insufficient insurance, underinsured, to cover the damages. This coverage helps protect against financial losses resulting from medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Coverage for medical payments, A, damage to the insured vehicle, B, and legal expenses, C, are covered under other parts of the policy. Correct answer: D, coverage for bodily injury caused by a driver with insufficient insurance. Explanation: uninsured underinsured motorist coverage, Part C, in a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado typically provides coverage for bodily injury sustained by the insured and passengers caused by a driver who either has no insurance, uninsured, or insufficient insurance, underinsured, to cover the damages. This coverage helps protect against financial losses resulting from medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Coverage for medical payments, A, damage to the insured vehicle, B, and legal expenses, C, are covered under other parts of the policy. Correct answer: B, percentage deductible of the insured property value. Explanation: earthquake insurance policies in Colorado commonly apply a percentage deductible of the insured property value. This deductible structure means that the policyholder pays a percentage of the insured property's value as the deductible amount before the insurance coverage kicks in for earthquake-related damage. Fixed dollar deductibles are less common in earthquake insurance, and no deductible C is rare. Deductibles based on earthquake magnitude D are not typically used in standard insurance policies. Question 79. Flood insurance. Building property coverage. What does building property coverage under a flood insurance policy in Colorado typically cover? A. Damage to personal belongings inside the insured building. B. Loss of use of the insured property during repairs. C. Repair or replacement of the insured building structure. D. Temporary housing expenses for the insured. Correct answer. C. Repair or replacement of the insured building structure. Explanation. Building property coverage under a flood insurance policy in Colorado typically covers the repair or replacement of the insured building structure itself when damaged by a flood. This coverage includes the foundation, walls, floors, equipment, and fixtures within the building. Damage to personal belongings A is covered under personal property coverage. Loss of use B and temporary housing expenses D are covered under additional living expense coverage. Question 80. Insurance regulation. Licensing requirements for agents and brokers. What is a requirement for licensing agents and brokers in Colorado's insurance industry? A. Passing a background check conducted by law enforcement agencies. B. Completing continuing education courses on insurance topics. C. Obtaining endorsements from current policyholders. D. Providing free insurance consultations to potential clients. Correct answer. B. Completing continuing education courses on insurance topics. Explanation. In Colorado's insurance industry, licensing requirements for agents and brokers typically include completing continuing education courses on insurance topics. These courses ensure that agents and brokers stay updated on industry regulations, product knowledge, ethics, and consumer protection measures. Passing a background check may be required, but it is not specific to licensing. Obtaining endorsements C and providing free consultations D are not formal requirements for licensing. Question 81. Personal lines insurance. Principles of indemnity. What is the principle of indemnity in Colorado personal lines insurance? A. It ensures that the insured receives a profit from an insurance claim. B. It allows the insured to select any coverage limit they desire. C. It aims to restore the insured to the same financial position they were in before the loss occurred. D. It requires the insured to disclose all personal information to the insurer. Correct answer. C. It aims to restore the insured to the same financial position they were in before the loss occurred. Explanation. The principle of indemnity in Colorado personal lines insurance aims to restore the insured to the same financial position they were in before the loss occurred. This principle ensures that the insured does not profit from an insurance claim, but rather receives compensation for actual financial losses incurred. Options A, B, and D do not accurately describe the principle of indemnity, but rather other aspects of insurance contracts and disclosures. Question 82. Dwelling policy DP. Coverage C. Personal property. What does coverage C? Personal property in a dwelling policy DP typically cover in Colorado A. Damage to the structure of the insured dwelling. B. Liability for injuries to guests on the insured property. C. Loss or damage to personal belongings inside the insured dwelling. D. Additional living expenses incurred after a covered loss. Correct answer. C. Loss or damage to personal belongings inside the insured dwelling. Explanation. Coverage C. Personal property in a dwelling policy DP typically covers loss or damage to personal belongings inside the insured dwelling in Colorado. Its coverage applies to items such as furniture, clothing, appliances, and electronics, providing compensation for their repair or replacement if they are damaged or destroyed by a covered peril. Coverage for the structure of the dwelling A. Liability. B. And additional living expenses D are covered under other parts of the policy. Question 83. Personal umbrella policy. Self-insured retention. What is the purpose of a self-insured retention? So in a personal umbrella policy in Colorado, A, to exclude coverage for specific high-risk activities. B, to reduce the overall premium cost of the umbrella policy. C, to specify the minimum amount the insured must pay before coverage applies. D, to provide coverage for uninsured or underinsured motorists. Correct answer. C, to specify the minimum amount the insured must pay before coverage applies. Explanation. A self-insured retention, sir, in a personal umbrella policy in Colorado specifies the minimum amount the insured must pay out of pocket before the umbrella coverage applies. Similar to a deductible, an SIR helps determine when the umbrella policy kicks in to provide additional coverage beyond the limits of underlying insurance policies. It is not used to exclude coverage, A, reduce premiums, B, or provide specific coverage for uninsured motorists, D. Question 84. Homeowners insurance. Perils excluded. Which of the following perils is commonly excluded from coverage under a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado? A. Fire. B. Theft. C. Earthquake. D. Windstorm. Correct answer. C. Earthquake explanation. Earthquake is commonly excluded from coverage under standard homeowners insurance policy in Colorado. Coverage for earthquake damage typically requires a separate earthquake insurance policy or endorsement due to the specialized risks and potential for catastrophic losses associated with earthquakes. Fire. A. Theft. B. And windstorm. D. Are generally covered perils under standard homeowners insurance policies, subject to policy terms and conditions. Question 85. Insurance regulation. NAIC and model laws. What role does the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, NAIC, play in Colorado's insurance regulation? A. Setting federal insurance laws applicable nationwide. B. Developing model laws and regulations for adoption by state insurance departments. C. Providing free insurance policies to low-income residents. D. Reviewing and approving insurance claims submitted by policyholders. Correct answer. B. Developing model laws and regulations for adoption by state insurance departments. Explanation. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners, NAIC, plays a key role in Colorado's insurance regulation by developing model laws and regulations for adoption by state insurance departments. These model laws serve as guidelines for states to create and enforce their own insurance laws, ensuring consistency and consumer protection across different jurisdictions. The NAIC does not set federal insurance laws. A. Provide free insurance policies. C. Or review and approve insurance claims. D. Which are responsibilities of state insurance departments and insurers themselves. Question 86. Personal lines insurance. On most good faith, what does the principle of what most good faith require in Colorado personal lines insurance? A. Full disclosure of all material facts by the insured. B. Maximum coverage limits for all insured perils. C. Immediate payment of claims by the insurer. D. Regular inspections of insured properties by the insurer. Correct answer. A. Full disclosure of all material facts by the insured. Explanation. The principle of what most good faith in Colorado personal lines insurance requires the insured to provide full disclosure of all material facts relevant to the insurance contract. This includes accurate information about the insured property or person to the insurer, ensuring transparency and fairness in the underwriting process. Maximum coverage limits. B. Immediate payment of claims. C. And regular inspections. D. Are not requirements of utmost good faith, but rather other aspects of insurance contracts and procedures. Question 87. Personal auto policy PAP. Coverage for damage to your auto Part D. What does coverage for damage to your auto Part D in a personal auto policy PAP typically cover in Colorado? A. Liability for injuries caused to passengers in the insured vehicle. B. Medical payments for injuries sustained by the insured driver. C. Damage to the insured vehicle resulting from a collision. D. Legal expenses incurred in defending against traffic violations. Correct answer. C. Damage to the insured vehicle resulting from a collision. Explanation. Coverage for damage to your auto Part D in a personal auto policy PAP in Colorado typically covers damage to the insured vehicle resulting from a collision with another vehicle or object. This coverage helps repair or replace the insured vehicle if it is damaged in a covered accident. Liability for injuries to passengers. A. Medical payments. B. And legal expenses. D. Are covered under other parts of the policy. Question 80. Homeowners insurance. Policy exclusions. Which of the following is commonly excluded from coverage under a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado? A. Water damage from a burst pipe inside the insured home. B. Theft of personal belongings from an insured vehicle. C. Mold damage resulting from a covered peril. D. Damage caused by intentional acts of the insured. Correct answer: D. Damage caused by an intentional act of the insured. Explanation: damage caused by intentional acts of the insured is commonly excluded from coverage under a homeowner's insurance policy in Colorado. Insurance policies typically do not cover losses that are intentionally caused by the insured, such as arson or vandalism committed by the policyholder. Water damage from a burst pipe. A. Theft from an insured vehicle. B. And mold damage. C. May be covered depending on the policy terms and conditions. Question 89. Personal umbrella policy. Coverage limits. What does a personal umbrella policy in Colorado typically provide in terms of coverage limits? A. Lower limits than underlying insurance policies. B. Equal limits for all types of liability claims. C. Additional coverage above underlying insurance policies. D. Fixed coverage limits that cannot be adjusted. Correct answer: C. Additional coverage above underlying insurance policies. Explanation: a personal umbrella policy in Colorado typically provides additional coverage above the limits of underlying insurance policies, such as homeowners or auto insurance. This extra layer of liability coverage kicks in after the limits of the underlying policies have been exhausted, providing broader protection against catastrophic losses and high-dollar liability claims. It does not provide lower limits. A. Equal limits. B. Or fixed limits. D, as the coverage amount can vary depending on the underlying policies and the umbrella policy's terms. Question 90. Insurance regulation. Unfair trade practices. What are examples of unfair trade practices regulated by state insurance departments in Colorado? A. Offering discounts to policyholders with safe driving records. B. Misrepresenting policy terms and coverage details to potential clients. C. Providing free insurance consultations to prospective customers. D. Setting premium rates based on actuarial data and risk assessment. Correct answer: B. Misrepresenting policy terms and coverage details to potential clients. Explanation: state insurance departments in Colorado regulate unfair trade practices, such as misrepresenting policy terms and coverage details to potential clients. This ensures that insurance consumers receive accurate and truthful information about insurance products and services. Offering discounts. A. Providing free consultations. C. And setting premium rates based on actuarial data. D. Are legitimate business practices in the insurance industry when conducted fairly and transparently.